Our next guest today is someone who's been throwing his money around, but in this case, it's for the greater good. Matt Callanan is determined to do good turns to set an example for his son. Hi, Matt.
Hello. Very good pronunciation of my surname. Most people get Callanan wrong. It's like Callahan or something like that.
Well, I'm glad we did it right.
10 out of 10 for a good start.
So, Matt, you've been doing quite a few projects lately, especially ones that are called We Make Good Happen, which is right there on your T-shirt.
Which camera are we on?
You also have another one, which I've seen recently, called We Make Success Happen.
Yeah.
Would you be able to talk us through that one for me?
Well, We Make Success Happen is a kind of offshoot of We Make Good Happen. Hasn't really started yet. Basically, it's going to be a site and a set of podcasts to... I've done 2 already, and it's going to be basically real stories with real success. Because I think success doesn't really mean money, and a lot of people do, unfortunately. So I just want to demonstrate that success can mean getting to the top of the volcano, or like one girl I've interviewed, she's had cerebral palsy for most of her life. Well, she was told from a very young age that she would never walk because she has cerebral palsy. And I filmed her the other week, and she walked completely unaided without sticks.
Amazing.
Which is amazing. And I was crying behind the camera.
I expect it's a very tearful moment.
Yeah, it's great. So I've interviewed her, and I've interviewed another guy that I filmed with called Matt Pryor, and he's a world record holder. And we went up volcanoes filming, and he's just this inspirational character that basically says yes to lots of things. And achieves his goal, and he wants to encourage others to do exactly the same.
Well, I would say the best way is to always say yes to everything. Otherwise, you miss out on opportunities and experience, which can get you that success.
Exactly, yeah. And be different, that's my thing, is by being different. So the thing that worked really well for me is just by having a silly idea that I thought hiding some money around Cardiff made me laugh, and I thought it's quite different. But actually, it was to get people to discuss doing good, and can they do good for free, you know, because we've all got time and we've all got skills, and we can use time and our skills for good.
In regards to We Make Good Happen and the hashtag £10 for good.
Tenner for good, yeah.
Yeah.
For good,
yeah. What would you suggest is the best way for people to use those £10 notes if they happen to find them?
Yeah, so we've had a whole range. So I gave them a couple of suggestions. So I did say maybe go and buy a copy of the Big Issue, and then go and see if they wanted a hot meal, through to if it was raining on that day in Cardiff, go and buy some umbrellas and give them to some people that looked wet. Also, just use that money to maybe travel to the food bank and go and volunteer for the afternoon.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a whole range of things, from people putting together homeless packs, so people have gone out and bought hats, scarves and gloves and dog treats, and then gone around with their family and distributed those. There was one guy who is very clever, Christian from I Loves the Diff. He basically went around, took some pictures of Cardiff, made them into limited postcards, did a deal with the printer, sold them via his website, and he turned that £10 into £405.
Really?
Which he raised for the Wallish homeless charity, which is amazing.
That's such a good idea, especially making that £10 and creating it into more money to help more people.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I think the funniest one, and I hadn't really thought about it, someone took the £10 to Euston Station, changed the £10 into 10p coins, and put it near the toilet machine where you have to pay 30p to go in, and just said, have a wee on us, which is good. It's just like all these 10p's, which is really cool. What else would you like to know?
That's the question, isn't it? When you thought of the idea, what would you say to someone who has found one of these £10 notes?
Firstly, don't give it away. That would be too easy. I mean, there's 2 rules. Basically, can't spend it on yourself, and secondly, do some good. Yeah, don't give your money away, especially not to people that might be on the street, because there's a growing begging situation. So unfortunately, the people that you see might not be homeless. So I'd always say go to someone selling the big issue and go from there. But it's also just have a think. You know, there's no time constraint. If you've got a clever idea, go and have a chat with your friends and your family, and maybe you can collectively come up with some good ideas of what to do with that £10.
Well, me and Sophie have actually both found £10 notes.
Oh.
I have the one that I found by here.
Yay.
So what would you do if you found this £10 note? And I will use your idea to spend this £10 note wisely.
Well, I did. I did my own tenner for good the other day. I was invited to the inaugural meeting of a refugee coffee morning, and we heard all these kind of quite harrowing stories of families in Syria that are having to sell up their homes to pay smugglers to sort of get transported over here. And there's a little boy there called Callanan who is 5, and woman Becky asked him and said, "What is your kind of favourite toy, or what do you like playing with?" And he said cars, and he liked Lego. With that, I kind of thought, and I said, well, I'm just going to go to the toilet. Instead, I ran out of Little Man Coffee Shop and sprinted to the Lego shop, saw a car there, and it just said champion car, and I was like, perfect. So I went and paid for that and ran back. And they were kind of still having the same conversation, and I just said, oh, here's a little...
Just sneaked on in.
Yeah, little for you, which was good. And then I bought some flowers as well for the Syrian woman, little daffodils for the Syrian woman that gracefully kind of told me this quite harrowing story. So yeah, I dropped it off in her restaurant on the way back home before she got there, which was really nice. So yeah, that was my tenner for good. So yeah, you need to come up with your own clever ideas.
I know. Well, thank you for talking to us about
pleasure.
your tenner for good, and also about all the other projects that you've been doing for the past couple of weeks that have come up.
Cool. It'd be good to hear what you do with it.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated. Thank you.
Hooray!
It feels like I have little voices in my head, and that's really weird.